In the world of professional sports, isolation is the price of greatness. When you are a unicorn, a talent so rare that the history books have to be written just to include you, the circle of people you trust becomes incredibly small. For Shohei Ohtani, the Japanese superstar who conquered America, that circle was particularly a dot. He didn't speak the language fluently. He didn't know the culture intimately. But he didn't need to. He had a voice. He had a shadow. Ippei Mizuhara. Ippei was more than an employee. He was the first face Ohtani saw in the morning and the last one he saw at night. He drove the car. He brought the groceries. He translated the cheers and the jeers. They were so inseparable that teammates called them peanut butter and jelly. But while the world watched them high-five in the dugout, a secret war was being waged in the dark. One man was making history. The other was erasing a fortune. We often fear the stranger in the alley, but the most dangerous person in Shohei Ohtani's life wasn't a stranger. It was the man holding his microphone. Welcome to The Anatomy of a $16 million betrayal. This is the story of the Ippei Mizuhara financial scandal. It is a case that shocked the world, not just because of the money involved, though $16 million is a staggering sum, but because of the audacity of the theft. How does an interpreter, a man with no legal claim to the fortune, manage to siphon millions from one of the most guarded bank accounts in the world? He didn't use a gun. He didn't use a complex hacking algorithm. He used something far more powerful. He used his position as the gateway. Today, we are going to deep dive into the mechanics of this fraud. We'll look at the impersonations, the bank fraud, and the terrifying reality of what happens when you hand your voice over to someone else and they use it to rob you blind. To understand how this happened, we have to look at the timeline. Between November 2021 and January 2024, Ippei Mizuhara was living a double life. By day, he was the loyal servant to baseball's king. By night, he was a desperate gambler spiraling into an abyss. Ippei had developed a severe gambling addiction, placing thousands of bets with an illegal bookmaker in Southern California. He wasn't betting on baseball. He knew that was the third rail of his profession. But he was betting on everything else: soccer, football, basketball. And he was losing catastrophically. He described it later as a snowball effect. He dug a hole, and to get out of it, he made bigger bets, which created a bigger hole. The debt ballooned to millions. The bookmaker was calling. The pressure was mounting. Ippei needed liquidity, and he needed it fast. He sat next to the solution every day. Shohei Ohtani had a bank account in Arizona, set up years prior to handle his salary. It was a massive reservoir of wealth, and Ippei Mizuhara realized that because Ohtani didn't speak English comfortably, Ippei, could be the one to speak for the money. Let's walk through the mechanics of the crime. This wasn't a one-time theft. This was a sustained, calculated operation over 2 years. Shohei Ohtani is a corporation as much as a person. He has agents at CAA. He has professional financial advisors. He has accountants. Any one of these people should have caught a $16 million leak. So, how did Ippei bypass them? He used the language barrier as a weapon. When the financial advisors asked to see the Arizona account, Ippei acted as the translator. He told them, Shohei wants this account to remain private. He doesn't want anyone else to have access to it. This was a lie. Ohtani never said that. But the advisors couldn't ask Ohtani directly without going through Ippei. He created an air gap between the star and his protectors. He turned the interpreter's role into a gatekeeper's fortress. This is the part that reads like a movie script. To wire money, especially amounts as large as $500,000, banks have security protocols. They don't just let you click a button on an app, they trigger alerts. They require verification. When the bank blocked the transactions, Ippei Mizuhara picked up the phone. He called the bank's customer service line, and he didn't say, "I'm Ippei, calling on behalf of Shohei." No, he said, "This is Shohei Ohtani." He impersonated the victim because he had been by Ohtani's side for years. He knew the answers to every security question. Mother's maiden name? Check. Place of birth? Check. Social security details? Check. He navigated the security protocols using Ohtani's stolen identity, authorizing wire transfers directly to the illegal bookmaker. He did this largely to settle his debts, but the debts never stopped growing. Even with the phone calls, there should have been notifications, texts, emails. Did you authorize a wire for $500,000? Ippei thought of that too. He logged into the account settings and changed the contact information. He removed Ohtani's email and phone number and replaced them with his own anonymous email and his personal cell phone. Imagine the scene. Ohtani and Ippei are sitting on the team bus. A text comes to Ippei's phone. Alert. $500,000 withdrawn. Ippei glances at it, deletes it, and turns to Ohtani to crack a joke or discuss the next game's starting pitcher. The victim was literally sitting next to the evidence, but he was digitally blindfolded. The house of cards held for 2 years, but financial crimes of this magnitude leave footprints. In early 2024, federal investigators began looking into the illegal bookmaker. They saw wire transfers with the same Shohei Ohtani. The press got wind of it. Questions started swirling. At first, Ippei tried one last desperate gamble. He told ESPN, a fabrication. He claimed that Ohtani was a benevolent friend who had knowingly wired the money to help pay off Ippei's debts. He tried to make Ohtani an accomplice to save himself, but the lie unveiled in a clubhouse in Seoul, South Korea. After the first game of the season, the Dodgers held a team meeting. Ippei stood up and confessed to the team that he had a gambling addiction, but he spoke in English. Ohtani, sensing something was wrong, but not understanding the full context, asked a different interpreter to explain what was being said. That was the moment the dam broke. Ohtani realized he hadn't paid any debts. He realized the money was missing. The investigation was swift. The digital trail was undeniable. Ippei Mizuhara faced charges of bank fraud and tax fraud. In a final crushing moment of clarity, investigators found a text message Ippei sent to his bookmaker as the news was breaking. Ippei Mizuhara pleaded guilty. He faces years in federal prison. Shohei Ohtani was cleared. He was, in the eyes of the law and the public, a pure victim. But this story serves as a chilling reminder to everyone, not just celebrities. We often think of abuse of power as something a boss does to an employee, but it works the other way too. Ippei Mizuhara abused the power of trust. He weaponized his role as a helper to become a predator. It forces us to ask a difficult question. How?